When I interviewed for the job, I told the review committee, I'm going to treat this like a musical. So it is a 12-week system. And generally with a musical, you spend the first several weeks learning the music. And that's what we're doing now. We're learning the music. So if you have a question about the notes that you're hearing, by all means, ask the question so that we can all be on the same page and move forward together.
Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and those whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our state upon our eldest Malcolm, whom we name hereafter Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine all deservers, and from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you. The purpose of him announcing Cumberland now, of Malcolm now, is...
It's interesting. So he's promoting Macbeth here. Mm-hmm. Macbeth is not the only one that proved himself during the war. Malcolm did too. So while he's in the promoting mood, he just announces all of them. He's moving everybody up. Macbeth is now Thane of Condor. Malcolm is now Prince and heir. He always was, but that's completely official. He proved himself.
I like that. Thank you.
This play marks a turning point in English history, in theatrical history, and so many other things. And it's still a lot of fun. So anything that we can find in this, if you think it's odd, that's okay, let's check it out. If you think it doesn't make any sense, by all means, let's check it out. So for whatever reason that we think Macbeth might be a little hesitant, he knows what he needs to do, whether it requires Lady Macbeth's pushing to make him do it stands to be, addressed.
Oh, never shall the sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters, to beguile the time. Look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
Yeah, she's a real nice lady.
Oh, she's a piece of work. That speech still gives me chills. I love that speech.
Am I telling her Duncan comes here tonight as a fact, or is it Duncan comes here tonight? Like that's...
No, that's a valid question. And, is it a matter of fact, or is it a matter of here it starts?
It starts.
She seems to think here it starts.
She says that she fears his nature is too kind and to catch the nearest way, meaning that she's worried. I would think that what she's worried is that he is thinking long haul, or she's like, to heck with that. We're taking it now.
Well, it's interesting because he says Duncan comes here tonight, and she's like, when does he leave? He says tomorrow, as he purposes, as if to say that's what he thinks. We're doing this classroom portion rather than just doing a table read. We're doing a classroom portion where we're breaking it down, group of scene by group of scene by group of scene.
Where's the Thane of Caldor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, have helped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight. I just see him. I see a lot of this Malcolm stuff as show. As great deal. You did a great job, General.
Because he's the king, and that's his. He knows he's supposed to. Applaud. Here's my. Yes, you did.
I just said sometimes when I've read it with my nose in the air, and other times I've read it as a really nice place.
So, and I guess I see it as Macbeth sees you as a great leader and a very sweet guy almost, and
Too sweet to be king? Paul's done something that I think every actor should do. You go through and you read the play not just for the lines you say, or what your character says, but what other characters say about you. Mm-hmm. It helps you know
I do appreciate that.
who you are. Now, you also have to carry with that a certain amount of, does this character know what they're talking about? But you still have to look at their point of view as it applies to your character. And I think Macbeth's opinion of Duncan is valid. It's important. Is it correct?
There's a lot of irony and foreshadowing in the scene just because he's like, I trusted this guy completely and he betrayed me, so I'm going to trust this guy completely.
And we know what's gonna happen there. Sorry, you're not making it through the night.
Did they say all the words right? Great. Did they understand what all of them meant? Did they understand the context? Did they understand how this is affected by that and how it will affect this? Since not a lot of people are reading ahead, or if they're reading ahead, they're not telling me.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
How?
As I descended.
I,
Hark, who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
Laugh in his sleep. And one cried, murder! That they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen, the other. As they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us.
Guards really didn't talk to each other, and none of that happened. That was all made up.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Because, here's a guy who kills all the time. That's his job. He protects Duncan's kingdom. He pushes the Norwegians back into the sea. He ferrets out traitors. He is an instrument to protect Scotland and to protect his own. And this one bugged him. This murder bugged him. And it may have been the only thing he needed to snap.
She's basically saying, you're useless. I have to go make sure this was done properly, and you're acting like a child. Just the guy of childhood that fears a painted devil. Why are you afraid of something that's already dead? If he's dead, why are you scared?
She's kind of calling him out. Why are you acting like such a chicken? You're going to be king. She was hellbound to actually pray to who knows what in the first act.
She set up the whole thing, and she's like, how could you have messed this up? Like, it was so easy. I drugged them, I set the daggers in the right spot.
She had always had that ambition, but once she came in with this cockamamie tale of three witches telling him he's going to be king, she's like, okay, that works for me. Here's how we're going to do it.
At one point, she's going to smack you.
Yeah, I hear knocking at the south entry, retire we to our channel. Like, I picture me being as unhelpful as possible, but, in what I'm saying, as well as physically, like, just not doing anything. And I think something like, as far as fear goes and sounds, there's so much noises that Macbeth hears, and Lady Macbeth too, but you got owls and crickets crying, and then that goes into the voices he's hearing. I think he's going full, you mentioned PTSD, but I think full auditory overload here.
I also feel like him starting to lose it is kind of what makes her start to lose it, because they're so connected, and once he starts to lose it, and she realizes things are starting to fall apart.
I was afraid the actors might be annoyed that they're not getting it on their feet, that we're spending so much time looking at just the text. But I've been very gratified by the response of people who get very enthusiastic about the discussion. They may be reading the script and being okay with reading the script, but once we get into the discussion, there's a lot of enthusiastic, well, why would he do that? I mean, we actually had somebody slap on the table a couple of times last week, going, what's the matter with this guy?
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I. Our separated fortunes shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles, the near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murder's shaft that's shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in the theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left. I feel like Malcolm is telling Donald Bain, hey, let's not talk with them. They're not really, our father's dead.
Right.
Yeah, and so an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy, which I guess they're all.
Sure, which you believe they are.
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting because looking at just how Malcolm approaches the scene, he's not shocked that his father's dead. His first question is, by who?
I mean, he knows somebody there did it. because he's just like, they all are like, oh, so shocked by it, but I mean, it's easy to think.
But they're not broken up about it
No,
because,
I
hey, we
mean-
could be king, but then we could be king. Oh, God. Where are you going? I'm going to
But
Ireland.
like, it's also interesting that he immediately like thinks it's one of them and not his brother.
They just saw him murder these two guys right in front of them in a fit of passion. And again, this puts Macbeth down a line he cannot stop walking. All the breakdown that we've been looking at by act, by scene, we've been matching those. Of course, next week we take on the banquet. That might be one night all by itself. That's a humdinger.
Thou hast it now. King Cotter blamest all, as the weird women promise, and I fear thou played most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and the father of many kings. If there come truth to them as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more. Well, he also comes to that realization there that he killed the king for Banquo's issue, his sons. He comes to that realization, shit, it wasn't about me, I think, and comes to regret a little bit about what he did, which does not stop him from having people killed, of course, but
Right.
he gets that's just, I think, helps to propel his anger by his realization that he did it for somebody else. Damn it.
Macbeth's not even in the room yet.
Oh, yeah. I didn't catch that either. Say what?
It feels like this whole scene has me so confused because the murderer, I'm trying to, like, it seemed like the murderer used to be kind of pro-Banquo, and I was like, or Macbeth was like, it's actually Banquo that's been giving you bad fortune lately, not me.
Each minute seems a new one.
How is my wife?
Why, well,
And all my children?
well too.
The tyrant has not bettered their pace,
No,
Their peace?
they were well at peace when I did leave them.
but not negative in your speech. How goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Malcolm's complaining about how Macbeth is a monster, he's destroying Scotland. And it sounds like Macbeth. Is he... Oh,
Maybe he has that same passion and drive that Macbeth has to rule.
well, there could be something to it. Macbeth is sitting on his throne. But it doesn't sound like the kind of thing we want to hear a hero say. That I would do basically to everyone what Macbeth is doing now. So that is an odd place for him to say such a thing. And they seem to be getting it. They seem to be, and I don't want to give it to them. It rewards me not as a director to give it to them. An actor is most motivated when they find it. Giving it to them, it's kind of like not accomplishing anything. It's just you're putting a robot in a direction. Whereas if you get somebody enthused about what they're saying and why they're saying it, I'm more interested when they find it. It does me no good if I give it to them. And to see a cast that passionate this early is really cool. I hope they can keep up that energy over the next 8-9 weeks.